Greetings, it's Ian from RTO here. Welcome to Marathon Ranking Day. And today we've got an artist that you're right, there's no sitting on the fence with this artist. You either like him or you don't. Now I'm in the camp that do. And we're talking about Tom Waits. Now, born Thomas Allen Waits, 7th December 1949. He is an American musician, composer, songwriter and actor who's renowned for his lyrics that focus on society's underworld and delivered in his trademark deep, gravelly voice. He began his career in the folk scene in the 70s and as influences rock, opera, delta blues, cabaret, funk, hip-hop and experimental. So he sort of goes with the times. Some of the albums I like, some I'm not that keen on. And you'll find out in the next 40-odd minutes or so. So he has released 17 albums in all. So we've got quite a big one today, so we'll get cracking. So coming in at number 17, we have the 16th album that was released in 2004. It's called Real Gone. Now playing on here with Tom, who of course there's vocals and a bit of piano, percussions by someone called Brian. Les Claypole does the bass on some of the tracks. Harry K. Cody plays guitar. Mark Howard bells and claps. Mark Ribot on guitar as well. And cigar box banjo. Larry Taylor does some bass. Casey Waits on drums. Tom Waits does what we said. Trisha Wilson does some claps. So the first track on this one is called Top of the Hill. Now I'm not a big fan of this. You can hear the music, but you can't hear Tom's vocals. They get lost in the background on that one. Hoist the Rag. Now, he's had this gravelly voice, and as he's got older, it sort of sometimes goes a little off the pace. And this one it does, and it's a little bit of a dirge as well for me. Sins of My Father. It's a long track. When you sing like this, I don't think you should be doing 10-minute and 36-second tracks. Halfway through, you get halfway through and you just don't want to listen to any more of it. Shake It, nice tune, but you just can't hear Tom's vocals, which is a shame because it's a really catchy tune. Don't Go in That Barn. As I said, he's known for this gravelly voice, but you just can't hear him on that one. How It's Gonna End, the best track on the here. It's a typical Tom Waits vocal, that lovely gravelly voice. It's a pretty good track. Metropolitan Glide. Now the vocal delivery and the tune don't match. Tom's on, I don't know if he's on a different planet on that one. It just doesn't sound right. Dead and Lovely, second best track on this album. Everything matches. It's really good. Circus. It's one of these more spoken word than singing. I like that. It's pretty good. Trampled Roads. One of the better tracks on here. Good vocal. Really good. Green Grass. It's not the best track on here, but at least you can hear Tom singing on this one. Maybe Gonna Leave. One of those tracks that everyone sort of covered. It's pretty good though. Then we have Clam Boom Steam. It's not 46 seconds of nothing. Make It Rain. Solid track. Good guitar solo on that. Day After Tomorrow. Another track that's got a country feel to it. And it's spoken word as well. And then we have this hidden track called Chickaboom. Pointless. Yeah, it's a bit of a mixed bag here. What spoils this album, I think, is the bad production on Tom's vocals. You know, you can hardly hear him, which is a shame. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 4.5. Okay, coming in at number 16, we've got the 14th album from 2002, and it is called Alice. Lots of people on here to mention, so we'll get straight into the tracks. Alice. Now this is one of the best tracks on the album. Tom's vocal is really good. There's some really nice saxophone on this. Very good track. Everything you can think. I like the start of this because it's got a steam engine and an American steam engine with this whistle. Nice two-tone whistle. And the whole track's got that railway feel to it. It's got some vibraphone on it as well. It's a pretty good track. Flowers Graves. Now Tom's always had this deep gravelly voice, but on this it's so deep. Right in the bowels. It's pretty good. No One Knows I'm Gone. He sounds a little bit of flat on here. The delivery doesn't work on that. Now, there's one of these that you got to say, so I'll show this very slowly and read it. Commie Zen Spastit. It's the Spad or something like that. Lovely tune. Hate the delivery vocal on it. Poor Edward. Once again, Tom is a bit flat on this. My favourite track on here is a thing called Tabletop Joe. It's one of these sort of jazzy blues things that comes straight out of the 1930s. It's absolutely brilliant, and Tom delivers a fine vocal on that. Lost in the Harbour. Yeah, it's a solid track. I wouldn't say it's brilliant, but it's still a decent track. We're All Mad Here. Yep, we certainly are. But not the best vocal from Tom on that. It really spoils it. Watch Her Disappear, sorry. It's more of a spoken thing and it's okay. Then we have Reaper Barn. Lovely, gruggy, gravelly one on that one. Excellent. I'm Still Here. It's only 1 minute and 49. It's a bit of a filler, but there's some lovely piano playing throughout it. Fish and Bird. It's one of them. Love the tune. Don't like Tom's vocal on it. Barrel Coal. Tom's vocal's pretty good. I love it when he does these tracks that come straight out of the 1930s and 40s. Really good track. Then we have this little instrumental at the end with piano and violins, but the violins sound like a cat on a hot tin roof. I do like this album, but some of the vocal delivery is a bit wishy-washy. Some of the tracks he was a little bit flat, but there's some really nice tunes on this as well. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 5 out of 10. Okay, coming in at number 15, we have the 15th album from 2002, and it's called Blood Money. Once again, about 40,000 people playing on it. Well, that's an exaggeration, but there's a lot of people. So Tom does his usual piano and vocals, of course. So the first track is called Misery. It's the River of the World. I don't know. It just didn't work. There's something. The tune's good, but his vocals a little bit. Nah, I really did struggle with that one. Always have. Everything Goes to Hell. It's one of these tracks where there's 15 people on it and they're all doing their own thing. Not very coherent. But my favourite track is called Coney Island Baby. I love this. I love the music and the great vocal from Tom. Excellent track. All the World is Green. I love this track as well. I don't know if it's vibraphone, xylophone, something like that. It's really nice, and it's got a lovely, nice clarinet piece on it as well. God's Away on Business. I just really struggle with his vocals on the later albums. They're too overpowering and sounds like he's drank a bottle of meths. It's really too gravelly for me. It sounds like he's really stretching his vocal cords. Another Man's Vine. I like this track. It's typical Tom Waits. He's actually singing properly. Really is. Then we have another instrumental called Knife Chase. It's interesting, we'll put it that way. Lullaby. Not a bad little track. Nice little delivery of the vocal there. Starving in the Belly of a Whale. Again, it's okay until he starts singing. He just can't. His voices are really shot on that one. The Part of Way You Throw Away, his voice again, very groggy on that one. Woe. It is, it's woeful, not very good. Calipede, it's a nice little, is it a nice little instrument? No, it sounds like a school orchestra practicing. The last track, A Good Man Is Hard to Find, not a bad track, a lovely trumpet solo on here and a really good vocal from Tom. As I've said, I do struggle with some of the latter albums from Tom. His voice is even more groggy than what it is used, but you know, it's great that he's still doing it, but there are some dodgy tracks on this still, and I'm going to give it an RTO ranking of 5.5. Okay, coming in at number 14, got the 13th album, which came out in 1999, and it's called Mule Variations. Once again, enough people on here to fill an orchestral pit. So the first track is Big in Japan. I don't like this one little bit. I don't know what he was thinking. It's not a nice sound. It's just Load Side of the Road. Oh, it's very dreary, this one. Wants to make you fall asleep. Then we have Hold On. Great track. Bit countrified. A good vocal for Tunnel on this. I do like that. Get Behind the Mule. Some great conga bongers on here. Really is a good track. Adds a little bit to it. House Where Nobody Lives. My favourite track on here. It's just got a lovely piano and guitar and a strong vocal from Tom on that one. Cold Water. Second favourite track on here. It's a bluesy sort of guitar number. Another great vocal from Tom. And then we have Pony. Very simple song. Simple arrangement. Pretty good. What's He Building? One of those speaking songs. I like tracks like that. The backing vocals are a bit irritating, but apart from that, it's pretty good. Black Market Baby. Too long. Dreary. It's 5 minutes. Should have been about 3 minutes. Eyeball Kid. Again, it's not very memorable. It just doesn't. It just plods along there. Picture in the Frame. This is a really good track. Some wonderful piano from Tom. Great vocal. Fantastic little track. Then we have Chocolate Jesus. I love this. The double bass on it is brilliant. A little bit of harmonica on there. It's just a very simple blues track delivered well. Georgia Lee, another great track. Great piano on this lovely blues number. Really like that one. Then we have Filipino Box, Spring Hog. Love the drumming on this. Not a bad track. And then we got Take It With Me. Very grotty thing. It doesn't do anything for me. And the last track, Come Up to the House. Very strong finish to this album. A bluesy jazzy number with a great piano piece on it. Now this album, it's an album of two halves. There's some really strong tracks on here. Some nice jazzy blue ones, but some absolute dreary stuff on here. I think if they had more of the bluesy jazzy, I think it'd have been a better album. So I'm going to give this one an RTO ranking of 6 out of 10. I think I'll have a drink first before I do this one. I can feel it going. That's better. Right. Coming in number 13, we have the 10th album that was released in 1987, and it's called Frank Wild Years. Lots of people playing on this. So the first track is called Hang On St. Christopher. Good track. It's a spoken delivery of vocal. The music's a little bit bizarre, but it works. It's really good. Straight to the Top, in brackets, Rumba. Good vocal on this. One of them tracks that I really like. It's a short one, but very good. Then my favourite one on this album is called Blow Wind Blow. Fine vocal by Tom. It's a very 1940s sort of jazzy sound, which I love. Temptation. Don't like this. It sounds like he's in a lot of pain when singing this. It's not very good. Innocent When You Dream. Not too bad. He actually sounds a bit drunk. I don't know if it's the way he's delivering it, but that's how we go. I'll Be Gone. Not too bad. Pretty solid track actually. Yesterday is here. The track is good. It's got some nice guitars on it, nice tones on them guitars. Pretty impressive. Please Wake Me Up. It's not the best track on the album. It's like 3 people doing something else, 2 doing another tune, and Tom just singing what he wants. Then we have this short thing called Frank's Dream. It's okay. Then we have More Than the Rain. It's got that Parisian feel to it. It's got a little bit of sort of accordion sort of thing to it. Pretty good. Way Down in the Hole. Love the arrangement. Love the double bass on this. It's got a little bit of a shuffle with the drums. Very, very good. Then we got Straight to the Top, Vegas. So this is a different version of the song. It's actually my second favourite track, and I could have imagined Frank singing something like this. It's a fantastic song. I'll Take New York, big band sound, not too bad. Great vocal from Tom. Telephone Call from Istanbul. It's a bluesy sort of number. A great vocal from Tom on that. Cold, Cold Ground. Good vocal. Good old-fashioned sort of bluesy, jazzy song. Train Song, nice arrangement. Good little song. Innocent When You're Dreaming, the last one. It sounds like he's singing down the telephone. We've got a little bit of French accordion in the background again. Not a bad album, actually. It's got some really good tracks on this. I do enjoy this one. So I'm going to give it an RTO ranking of 6.5. Okay, coming in at number 12 from 1993, the 12th album, The Black Rider. First track on here is Lucky Day Overture. Seems to be a lot of shouting on this, don't know why. Then we have The Black Rider. It's quite got that French feel to it again, pretty good. November, we got the French accordion sound on here with a bit of banjo and a piano. It's really good. Then Just the Right Bullets. Now this is bizarre. It's got a very strange vocal performance from Tom, but it's got a lovely clarinet on it, and it really works. Then we have Black Box Theme. I love this. It sounds like it's come straight out of Ali Baba and the 40 Thieves. We expect people to start doing that dance with fezzes on their heads. It's really good. Then we have Taint No Sin, which is lots of woodwind. The clarinet's good, there's some oboes, and I love the vocal on that. Then we have Flash Panhunter, an intro. Some lovely clarinets, a very short piece like that. That's the Way, written by William S. Burroughs. Little bits of spoken word in it, and it sort of carries on from the previous track. The Briar and the Rose. It's the same tune as That's the Way. Don't know why. It just doesn't. Them 3 tracks should have all been one track, to be quite honest. They're good, but I think it should have just been one continuous track. Okay, but then we've got Russian Dance. Yes, you can imagine people with the hats and do that dance when they cross the legs and the legs are going out. Yep, quite good fun track. Gospel Train Orchestra Instrumental. It sounds like a school band again. Not a particular favourite of mine. I'll Shoot the Moon. Not a bad song. I like the vocals. It's classic sounding Tom Waits. Then we have Flash Panhunter, which is terrible, the worst song on the album. Then we have Crossroads. My favourite track. It's got a really interesting time signature and the guitar work is good. Gospel Train. Now this track, it sounds very... It reminds me of Morocco. And, you know, when I'm wandering around the streets of Marrakesh, you hear all this wonderful music, and that's what it's like. Then we have this little 17 seconds of oboe, which goes into Oily Note. And this is one of them smoky jazz bars with the big microphones. It's a great track. Lucky Day again, it's on that thing, smoke-filled rooms, big microphones. Love that track. Great vocal from Tom on both them 2 tracks. The Last Rose of Summer, very interesting. It's again, it's got a very train sound on it, really good. A steam train starting up. And the last track is called Carnival. It has got that carnival atmosphere with the bongos and a Latino swing to it. Excellent, excellent album. It's got some fantastic songs on here, so I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 6.6. Okay, coming in at number 11 is the 11th album, and it came out in 1992, and it's Bone Machine, and this one actually won a Grammy for Best Alternative Music Album, and features guest appearances by David Hidalgo, Les Claypool, Brian, and Keith Richards. Earth Died Screaming, even though this is quite weird, it's got a really eerie vocal and it works, love it, and it features Les Claypool on the bass. Dirt in the Ground, my favourite track here. It's a hyper track, love the vocal, it's a jazzy blues number and it's fantastic. Such a Scream, it's got that sort of Latino feel to it, it's got a nice guitar piece and it features Brian on the drums, or Brain on the drums. All Stripped Down, don't like this, don't like the vocals, probably the worst track on the album. Who Are You, second favourite on its very classic sounding Tom Waits, and there's nothing wrong with that. The Ocean Doesn't Want Me. This is again one of them creepy sort of songs. It's got bongos, it's got a great delivery vocal from Tom. Jesus Gonna Be Here. Little bluesy number, great vocal from Tom. A Little Rain is next. It's just a bit, a lovely little track. Great piano, great vocal, love it. In the Colosseum. It's a bit of a crash bang wallop on the drums, bad vocal, not my favourite. Features Brain, and again, Going Out West. Very similar to the previous track, but there's a little bit more to it. The drums are not as crash bang wallop, and they put a little bit more guitar in it. Murder in the Red Barn. It's very starts off like an old-fashioned phone call, and the drums are a bit hollow. Black Winds, good track. Love the guitar work on this. Tom's voice works on this track. Whistle Down the Wind. Now and then you find a classic, and this is one of them. It's a really good, strong song. Some lovely violin and accordion by Dave Hilgardo. Then we have I Don't Want to Grow Up. It's a bit of a busking sound. You know, you could stand on the street corner and play that one. Let me Get Up on It. 55 seconds of bongos and wailing. That Feel. Now, this features Keith Richards. I'm sorry, Keith, this is awful. Your backing vocal's terrible. You both sound a little drunk. Well, I wouldn't be surprised if they weren't. And it's not a very good song to end the album. It's a solid album, though. It's a bit weird, but it wouldn't be without some of Tom's weirdness. I do like a lot of the tracks on here, I must admit. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 7 out of 10. Okay, coming in at number 10, we have the 8th album released in 1983, and it's called Swordfishtrombones. All one word, no gaps. First track on here is Underground. Now, this is a very interesting track. It shouldn't work because it's just noises and other people doing the stuff, but for some reason this one works. It's really good, very clever. Shore Leave, what a bass line on this, and it's got a spoken word from Tom, and it works very well. Then we have one of these instrumentals, and it's called Dave the Butcher. Weird, but good at the same time. I don't know what instruments are being used on it, but it really works. Then we have Johnsburg, Illinois. I really love this. It's short. It's only a minute and a half, but the piano and the vocals, and it sounds like Peter Skellen should be singing this, not Tom Waits. My favourite on here is a track called Shells from a 30-06. Absolutely brilliant, lovely arrangement. The drumming and the percussion's great, and a fantastic vocal from Tom on that one. Then we have Town with No Cheer, a really moving track. Some great lyrics on that. I love the little bit of keyboard in the background that sort of gives it that solemn feel to it. In the Neighbourhood is next. Great horns on this, absolutely brilliant. Then we have another instrumental, just another sucker on the vine. All sorts of trumpets on here, and it really works. Then we have Frank's Wild Years. It's the continuing story of Frank, and it's told in the story, like, you know, on these American Private Eye, where they have a little bit of jazzy music and they're talking about the case. This is what this is, and it's really good. I do like that. I wish it was a bit longer, because I do like them sort of tracks. Then we have the title track, Swordfish Trombone. Love the vibraphone on here. Double bass, fantastic little song. Down, down, down. My second favourite track on here. It's funky. I love the keyboards on this. Soldiers Things comes next. Lots of nice piano on here. It's just one of them. Piano, Tom's vocal, lovely. Gin Soaked Boy, bluesy sound, great vocal from Tom. Troubles, Braids, double bass, love that. I love a double bass, and the drums are good on that as well. And then Rainbirds is an instrumental, and it happens to be my favourite instrumental by Tom Waits. The piano work is wonderful. It's a sort of soulful, relaxing, and a brilliant track to end the album. A really good album. I do enjoy listening to this. There's some nice tunes on here. There's some relaxing. There's some funky, and especially that Rainbirds. So I'm going to give this one an RTO ranking of 7.2. Okay, then coming in at number 9, the 9th album from 1985, Rain Dogs. Once again, there's so many people playing on this. The first track is Singapore, and it's just got one of them 40s feels. It's just so straight out of the jazz clubs. It's fantastic. Clap Hands, again, it's all about percussion. Some lovely guitar on this, and a fantastic vocal from Tom. Cemetery Polka, a strange track, but it's quirky and it works. Jockey Full of Bourbon, bongos, percussion, spoken vocal, excellent. Tango Still They Saw, a lovely jazzy number. The clarinet and piano work ways great together, and the double bass, the bottom line as they call it, really makes it sound so good. My favourite on here again is another of them sort of tracks, Big Black Maria, double bass, bluesy, and I love Tom's vocal on that. Diamonds and Gold, not a favourite of mine. It's listenable, but it doesn't stand out. Hang Down Your Head, a great track. The guitar work on this is really good. Another good vocal from Tom on that one. Time, I love the track. It's just a great vocal from Tom all the way through that one. Rain Dogs, the percussion and the vibraphone are brilliant on this. A little bit of guitar thrown in, very, very good. Then we get this short thing called Midtown, an instrumental. It sounds like it's come out of a 1960s spy movie, although it has got an irritating sax bit on it, which I didn't like. Ninth and Henny Pin, another of those sort of private eye telling stories about the case. Excellent track. Gun Street Girl, it's a very simple track, acoustic guitar and some very simple percussion on it, a fine song. Union Square, very simple rock and roll, acoustic track, great. Blind Love is a sort of country feel to it, there's some harmonica on it, works very well again. Walk in Spanish, it's got a bit of a jazzy acoustic found to it, but with a Spanish guitar sound with a little bit of blues, so it's quite a mixture and it works. Downtown Train, a track that's got bass and guitar solid. Then we have another little instrumental, Bride of the Rain Dog. The saxophone at the end of this little short minute track is good. Anywhere I Lay My Head, got a lovely piece of trumpet on it. Works well with Tom's vocal. Now, this is a good album. Considering this is 1985, there's none of that 80s nonsense on it anywhere. Tom didn't fall for that. He kept on what he was doing and made a really good album. So I'm going to give this one an RTO ranking of 7.4. Okay. At number 8, we have his most current album from 2011, and it's called Bad As Me. So the first track on here is called Chicago. Tom's voice sounds really, really good, and it's got that sort of Chicago blues feel to it. It's an excellent track. It's 2 minutes long, but it's excellent. Raised Right Men. Now this has got that Showtime feel to it. Another fantastic vocal from Tom. I love this track. Talking at the same time, we're now going to that jazz bar feel. Tom's vocal on this album is a thing. It's one of my favourites on this album. Then we have a little rock and roll thing called Get Lost. A little bit different. A very good vocal, and it works well. Face to the Highway. Second favourite track on here. Atmosphere, bar full of smoke, dark lights, great vocal, super track. Pay Me, probably Tom's worst vocal on here. He just didn't hit some of the notes, although the tune is excellent. Back in the Crowd. Tom's vocals back on form on this one. Really good track. Well delivered. Bad As Me. I don't like his vocal on this. Again, he just didn't hit some of them high notes, which is a shame. Kiss Me. Wonderful piano piece this is, with a great vocal as well. But my favourite track is a track called Satisfied. It's a good old-fashioned Tom Waits number. Love the drumming on it. I love his vocal on this. Some nice saxophone on it as well, and it's excellent. Last Leaf. Now, this one's very clever. Tom was not hitting them notes, but he had some people doing the backing vocals to support his singing, and it worked. It works well, and it's a solid track. Hell Broke Loose. It's a good rock and roll track. The brass comes in as well, some nice guitars. And then to end the album, we have this really nice ballad called New Year's Eve. It's got accordion, some guitars. Brilliant. Now, I thought this was Tom's best album for a long while. I don't know what's happened to his voice. I don't know if he hasn't been singing, but it sounds a lot better than some of the later albums. Some really good tracks on here. Enjoy this album. And if this is going to be his last album, because this is 2011, he's gone out on a high. And I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 7.5. Okay, coming in at number 7. We're now moving into the classic territory. The fifth album from 1977, and it's Foreign Affairs. So Tom Waits, his vocals and piano. Gene Capriano on clarinet solos. Jim Hugger on the bass. Shelly Mann on the drums. Guest singer Bette Midler on I Never Talk to Strangers. Jack Sheldon does the trumpet. Vank Vickery does the saxophones. This starts off with a little instrumental called Sin Is Waltzed. I love this. Second favourite, some lovely trumpet on it. It's just a fantastic track. Muriel comes next. Great feel to it, a great bass, fine vocal from Tom. Top draw stuff. Then we have I Never Talk to Strangers. What a duo between Tom and Bette Midler. Absolutely fantastic track. One of my favourite tracks by Tom Waits, without a doubt. Great stuff. Then we have this little medley called Jack and Neil, California, Here I Come. It's a bit of an Al Johnson and Buddy DeSilva. It's a great medley. I've seen California, Here I Come in a school concert back in 1977. A long time ago. It was for the Jubilee concert we did at school. So yeah, I like that song. A Sight for Sore Eyes. Great vocal from Tom on this. Superb song. Potter's Fields. It's a big band number. I love big band. The double bass is in there. It works well. Burma Shave, another brilliant Tom piano singing track. It may be 6 minutes long, but it's just wonderful. Then we have Barbershop. The double bass on this is brilliant. You got the simple drum on the brushes and a great vocal. And then the last track is the title track, Foreign Affair. Lovely piano again from Tom. The strings work well. Fantastic. Great album. Not a bad track on this from top to bottom. Classic Tom Waits. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 7.7. Okay, coming in at number 6. The fourth album. Classic album from Tom. Released in 76. Small Change. Playing on here is Tom doing vocals and piano. Harry Bluestone's on the violin and Constant Martyr strings. Jim Huggett plays the bass. Ed Lustgarten on cello, orchestral manager strings. Shelley Mann on the drums. Lou Takabakin on the tenor saxophone. And Jerry Yester conducts the strings. Of course, this opens up with his version of Tom Traubert's Blues, Four Sheets to the Wind in Copenhagen. One of the most emotional versions of this song. It was that lovely, deep, rambling voice. Step Right Up. I love this. Always have. It's about selling stuff in a shop. It's got a very addictive bass line to it. Quite amusing song. Excellent. Then we have Jitterbug Boy. Sharing a Curbstone with Chucky Weiss. Nice track. I love that sort of lovely gravelly voice on this. Much passion in that. I Wish I Was in New Orleans in the ninth word. It's pretty good. It's no sitting on the fence here. It's quite a moving song. The piano has been drinking, not me. About a pianist drinking. It comes out of. It's just. It's a strange track, but very, very good. My favourite track on this one, though, is Invitation to the Blues. The piano work is good. Some nice saxophone thrown in there. Past is on a G string at the 2 o'clock club. It's got a bit of fanfare, dreamy sort of sound, really good. Bad Liver and Broken Heart. Jazzy sort of song. Great vocal from Tom. The One That Got Away, love the saxophone on this. There's a bit of storytelling from Tom. Then we have Small Change, Got Rain, Done His Own. I'm not keen on this one. It's a little bit too long. 3 minutes of that would have been alright. I Can't Wait to Get Off Work, to See My Baby. Second favourite track on here. It's got that sort of bluesy sound. Such a great vocal from Tom. This is one of them albums that you either love it or you don't, and there's some great track on here. It's a nice relaxing album. I love listening to this album, and I'm going to give it an RTO ranking of 8 out of 10. Okay, coming in at number 5 from 1978, the 6th album, Blue Valentine. Joining Tom on here is Ray Crawford, Roland Brustata and Alvin Robinson that play guitars. Scott Edwards and Jim Hergert and Brian Miller do the bass on this album. Dawili Gonga plays grand piano. Harold Baptiste acoustic piano. Charles Cunard organ. Herbert Hardsley, Frank Vickery on saxophones. Rick Lawson, Earl Palmer, Chip White do the drummings. Bobby Hall Porter congas. And Bob Alvicia conducts the orchestra. First track here is Somewhere, which is from the West Side Story. It's a very good version of this song. I like that quite a lot. Red Shoes by the Drugstore, another great track. Some great drumming on this. Brilliant track. Christmas Card from a Hooker in Minneapolis. Love this. It's a storytelling blues song. Great vocal from Tom. Romeo is Bleeding. I love the keyboards on it. That organ sounds great with the congas and a great bass line. My favourite track on here is a track called $29. It's a bluesy number, some great piano work, fantastic track, great vocal. Then we've got The Wrong Side of the Road, another super track, the brushy drums on this, great vocal from Tom. Whistling Past the Grave track, my second favourite track on here. It's a proper blues number, brilliant stuff. Kentucky Avenue, a really nice composition. This is the piano and the strings work wonderfully. Throw in a great vocal from Tom, and it's an excellent track. And then we've got A Sweet Little Bullet from My Pretty Gun. Another fantastic song. Very simple composition and a very fine vocal. And the last track is Blue Valentines. I love the jazz guitar on it. The tones are just perfect for this track. Great vocal as well. I think this was a golden period for Tom. Another cracking album. Not a bad track on this album. So I shall give this an RTO ranking of 8.3. Right, I need another drink. My throat is rather groggy. Right, coming in at number 4 then, from 1980, the 7th album, Heartattack and Vine. Tom Waits, of course, electric guitar and piano. Bob Alvisart does the string arrangements again. Ronnie Barron on Hammond organ and piano. Roland Basuta guitars and 12-string guitar. Red Cohen plays the bass on this. Percussion and chimes and glockenspiel from Victor Feldman. Jim Huggett as ever on the bass. Plas Johnson tenor sax and baritone. We've got Michael Lang piano, Larry Taylor on the bass. Big John Thomasy drums, and Jerry Yester again does a little bit of the orchestral. First track is the title track, Heartattack and Vine. Fantastic opening track. The drumming on this is brilliant. It's just got a very simple vocal and bass line. Works well. In the Shades, a good instrumental, some guitar and keyboard. There's great interplay on that. Excellent track. Saving All My Love for You, a nice gentle track. A wonderful vocal from Tom. A lovely string arrangement on that track as well. Very good track. Then we have Downtown, one of my favourite songs on this album. One of my favourite songs all by Tom Waits. It's nothing to do with Pachuca Car, but it's just a real lovely song. Love it to bits. Jersey Girl, another of my favourites on here. The guitar work is so delightful on that track. Till the Money Runs Out. Love the Hammond organ, that rich sound of the Hammond organ at the beginning. With the drumming, it's like a big band drumming sound. Great track. On the Nickel. Piano. Tom. Love these sort of tracks. Can't get any better than that. Mr. Siegel. Lovely blues piano here. Love this track. And the last track, Ruby's Arms. Great track to end. Strings, trumpet, great vocal. A fantastic album. You get a bit of jazzy blues and rock. And I love listening to this. I'm going to give it an RTO ranking of 8.5. Okay, coming in at number 3, it's the second album from 1974, The Heart of Saturday Night. The title song was written as a tribute to Jack Kerouac. So joining Tom on here, we've got Jim Hewart on the double bass, Pete Christleby on tenor sax, Tom Scott clarinet, Jim Gordon drums. So the first track is a brilliant track called A New Coat of Paint. I love Tom's piano playing on this. Absolutely wonderful. Great vocal as well. San Diego Serenade. Brilliant, strong. The strings and the piano work lovely. Top draw vocal from Tom. Semi-sweet. What makes this track is that wonderful muted trumpet. It's delightful. It gives it that sort of moody feel to it. Excellent. Then we have Shiver Me Timbers, a great track. Love listening to this. It's a bit of an uplifting thing. My favourite track on here, again, it's one of my favourite tracks by Tom. Diamonds on My Windshield. It's that double bass and the brush drums. It melts me every time I hear it. I just love brushes on drums. It's that simple, slow, really works. Then we got Looking for the Heart of Saturday Night, sorry. One of them simple songs, a great bass line and a fantastic vocal again from Tom. Fumbling with the Blues, brilliant. Blues with Clarinet, one of my favourite tracks. Top draw. Please Call Me Baby. We go back to the jazz bath sort of feel to it. Wonderful strings, dynamic vocals. Depot. Brilliant muted trumpet solo on this. I just love that sound. And that double bass from Jim absolutely really adds to the track. Drunk on the Moon, I just love this, and lovely trumpet, saxophones, double bass, very jazzy. I just love it, and the piano work he's got. And then the last track, The Ghosts of Saturday Night, After Hours at Napoleon's Pizza House. It's a bluesy storytelling track with a wonderful piano work on it. A sterling album. Every song reminds you of a jazz bar, smoky room. It's just a wonderful, wonderful album. And I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 8.6. Now we come to the top two. This was so tough because these to me are the best Tom Waits albums without a doubt. One is just a classic album and the other is a studio album with a twist. So coming in at number 2 is the debut album from 1973 and it's called Closing Time. On here is Tom, of course, trumpet Delbert Bennett, Shep Cook guitars, Pete Climbs guitar and pedal steel guitar, Bill Plummer on the double bass, John Seater on drums and backing vocals as well. First track is Old 55. I love this. There's some lovely harmony singing on this to accompany Tom's vocal. Very, very good track. I Hope That I Don't Fall in Love with You. A little bit of a country feel to this. Fine guitar work and a fine vocal. Love it. Virginia Avenue. My favourite track on here, and I'd say this is my favourite track ever by Tom Waits. I think it's because it's got a great jazz and it's that muted trombone piano with the double bass in the background. Fantastic. Old shoes and picture postcards. Country feel, some lovely vocal and a harmonica on that. Very, very good track. Midnight Lullaby. Muted trumpet. I so love muted trumpet. Really adds to this. It's one of the smoke room, jazz room sort of tracks. Martha, a lovely song. One of the best vocals from Tom on this. Some lovely piano work on this one as well. Then we have Rosie. It's got country overtones with a little bit of steel pedal guitar on it, and it's still got a jazzy feel to it. So it's a bit of a country jazz fusion. Really, really good. Lonely, a very simple song, but delivered fantastically. Less is more, and it works on that one. Then we have Ice Cream Man. Now, this is an old track. There's been so many versions of this. Van Halen have done it, but I'd say this is the best version I've heard. Tom delivers it brilliantly, and he's only his way of doing things. Brilliant track. Little Trip to Heaven, On the Wings of Your Love. I can listen to tracks like this all day. Relaxing. Again, you've got muted trumpet, which just melts me. Grapefruit Moon, a lovely bit of piano playing on it. There's some violin. It's so soothing. Closing Time, the last track. It's piano, strings, absolutely top draw. It's a great album from start to finish. You know, this was the start of that golden era for Tom. Whatever he put out was fantastic. This was such a great debut album. A little bit different from what everyone else was doing. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 8.8. But my number one album, now it is a studio album, but it's one of them studio albums that was recorded over 4 sessions at Los Angeles Plant Studio in front of a very small invited audience, and I mean small. It sounds like they couldn't be more than 10, 15, and they tried to create that atmosphere of a jazz club. And the album's called Nighthawks at the Diner. Came out in 1975, the 3rd album. So joining Tom here, we got Pete Kreislieb on tenor sax. We got Bill Goodwin on the drums. We've got Dream Hugart on the upright bass, and Mike Melvin piano and electric piano and guitar. So we have the opening intro, and it's basically Tom doing a bit of talking, a little bit of music, really good, and then it goes into an emotional weather report, and that's the clapping. They did create that jazz thing on this. Is just brilliant. I just love it. It's just such a great jazzy sounding track. Then he talks again, talks about the next track, and the next track is On a Foggy Night. Love the guitar in this, and that double bass is brilliant. It's a fine vocal from Tom. Then he talks about the next track, and it's called Eggs and Sausage in a Cadillac with Susan Middleton. It's a storytelling. It's weird, it's funny. You can hear the audience laughing as he's telling it. It's got so much atmosphere. I just love it. Then he talks about the next one, Better Off Without a Wife. Another of them storytellings. There's a lot of fun in this. It's a wonderful piano track. Tom at his best. Nighthawk Postcards from Easy Street. This is a long piece, and I'm sure there's a bit of improv in here because it's 11 minutes long. The playing on this is just excellent. Tom's piano playing on this is fantastic, and I love his vocal. So this is a double album, of course. So side 3 starts off again with a little intro to the song Warm Beer and Cold Women. Storytelling is wonderful. Great vocal. I think this is when Tom was at his best. Then we talk about the next track, and then it's called Putnam County. Brilliant track. It just, I don't know, it's just the musicians he's got around him are fantastic, and it's just a great little jazzy number. Brilliant. Then we have Spare Parts 1 and Nocturnal Admission. My favourite track on here. I love how this starts to speed up, and his vocal, it starts off quite slow, and in the drums keep it going, and it's absolutely brilliant all the way through. Then we have a track called Nobody, and I think this is the second best vocal from Tom on this. It's a wonderful little short track. Great playing on this as well. Then we have a little intro to Big Joe and Phantom 309. The guitar work on this with the double bass. It's another storytelling song, and it's wonderful. And then we get Spare Parts 2 and closing. Brilliant jazz piano. The hot band are playing so well. Great vocal delivery. Now, I love this album. It's just, it's atmospheric. It's created what Tom wanted, that small jazz bar, few people in the crowd, fine musicians on here. This is a great album, and it's very underrated. It's everything that I like about a live performance, but not a live performance, and it would have been wonderful to be part of that crowd. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 9 out of 10. So there we go. Tom Waits. You either love him or hate him, as I said. Fine songwriter, without a doubt. And he just doesn't get enough love on YouTube. So that's why I've done this. This is one of mine. It's not a viewer's request. It's what I wanted to do. So there we go. So that's all for today. Busy day tomorrow, though. We are kicking off with a birthday top 10. One of Hugh Scott's cousins, Stephanie, then followed by a group. Is it Group G tomorrow? It is. Of it's the one that I let last week. I think it's got in it. It's got Kinks. That's Entertainment. I don't know. I keep cocking this up, so I won't say anything because I haven't got it in front of me. And then tomorrow we've got a pick and mix, and it's sort of mixing it up, but it's a little bit different. We're going to look at the whole career of Jim Steinman, and it is the penultimate mixing it up as well. So that's all coming tomorrow. Have a great day. The sun's trying to come out, so it'll hopefully warm up a little bit. According to my temperature, it has. It is now 0 degrees. So have a great day, everyone. Bye for now.